Hi, my name is Tendai Marowa, the founder of the Legacy of True Beauty. Welcome to Incite with Tendai, all about impact and inspiration, with some of my influential favorite people who will be sharing about their journey, authenticity, and changing the narrative. Today, I would like to introduce you someone who's an inspiration, who's been misunderstood, but also a trailblazer. She's a media mogul who has been in the industry for 25 years. And today I'm blessed to have this phenomenal woman to come through this show and to share about her journey and also other various topics that we'll be sharing today. Welcome, Lebyane. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Trying to be formal.
I can see.
Acting like I don't know you. How are you? How you been?
I'm good at yourself.
I'm good. How are things with the pandemic?
Well, it's COVID. We're in level 3. It is what it is. This wave. Oh, wait, level what?
Level 3.
Level 3, wave 3. Third wave. Yeah.
Third wave.
That's what it is. But we'll see. I'm sure,
We're
God will
just
see us
trying
through.
to survive. Ne?
It is what it
Let's
is.
hope we won't go back to level 5 because sekula marumas now.
Well, if we do go to level
Routine.
5, it will be necessary so that people can behave. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah, that's true. Hey? But thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. So we're gonna tap into social impact and about mental illness because you're an advocate for mental illness. And for me, I wanted to tap into what it means to be bold and transparent and being able to confront your own shame because you've had that experience.
Well, I think being bold and
Transparent.
transparent.
Like owning your own story.
I think, for me, I've worked in the media space for my entire working life.
Yeah.
And I believe in coming from a place of truth. I really believe that the truth is as a healer. Words are a healing, and I believe that if you converse and you communicate with people and you're in a space where you have influence, to be able to have impact, you have to show up in your realness. The media world, it's very easy in the media world to put on facade.
Yes.
So I consciously, I think, even without realizing from the get-go when I got into the industry, that I'm going to be as truthful as possible because I don't want anybody to see my work as a make-believe work. I'm not a fictitious character. I'm not an actress, and I don't sell dreams. I go on radio and I talk to people about their life experiences, real journeys, successes, failures, people who have past, who are looking forward to a future. And if I'm going to sit behind the microphone, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not going to do it as a robot, because I'm a human being as well. I have a past, and I have a future, and I have a present, and I've had great experiences and not so great experiences. So with in hindsight, I can use all these words now and they can flow. Relatability is what I've always been about. Like I struggle with the concept of when people say to me, you have to do this. I'm like, what is that? Can I just be
Put a
myself?
persona, yeah.
So also, so then I don't also associate it with like my openness or my transparency that it becomes a shame. People shamed me, but I'm not ashamed of my experiences. So I look at it that way. I look at it like the fact that I speak about things. I don't say, oh, shame for me. I'm saying that that's what I went through, and look out for that. You could have experienced it, or you experienced it. So because of the times that I started saying things, particular people, certain people were not comfortable with that. Then they would use that against me to shame me. So I'm not ashamed of my experiences. I've got nothing to be ashamed about.
And it takes a lot to to say, you know what, I'm not going to put a persona, I'm going to be who I am. Because, as we know, this industry, once you get into it, you lose yourself, your values, and who you are. Because now you're trying to fit in to be an A-lister, to get to the top, because you have to please the people. And you were like, no, I'm not going to be a people pleaser.
I think for me that was that. I think I was very conscious of losing who I am to the work that I do. But it was an anomaly to say that I don't want to lose myself to this industry. I don't want to do things according to what I'm told to do. So then everyone is like, but everybody does it. And I was like, but I don't want to be everybody.
Yeah.
And then that makes me difficult, uncooperative, stubborn, all those words that people, you have a lot to say. But all of those words come from that. It just came from the fact that I'm saying, if they're saying everybody drinks here, and I'm like, I'm not drinking. What's wrong with it? And then if they say everybody is smoking Zol here, and I'm like, I'm not smoking. But I'm going to be in this room because, because my delivery and anything that I have to do is not dependent on those things.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I mean, so for me, I'm very grateful that I'm actually alive here to look back and
I was
talk
about
like
to
that.
say,
Because
lived a long life.
Yeah.
I mean, over 25 years.
Because a lot of people had to, compromise themselves. And now they can't even speak up with things that matter now because of the compromises that they've made in the past. That obviously came at a price for a lot of things. But again, I don't regret that.
I was about to say,
Don't regret.
No, I don't regret
because
that.
now my next question was, how did you refine yourself without trying to define yourself constantly? How did you become consistent and say, you know what, I'm going to evolve as Penny Lebyane and I'm going to stick to it?
I didn't have a template and a list that's influenced, for example, by the thing when people say this is what you have to do, they'll say that's what the PR person is saying.
Yes.
I studied PR. Yes. So I studied PR as a 17 and 18-year-old. I understood what PR is.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't understand it with the confidence that I have now, I understood that, you're representing a client and then you're building these communication principles on behalf of this client. You use media principles to deliver that message. So I sit on a media platform. So if a PR person is going to come to me selling me a false story, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
And then my peer communications gave me an opportunity to have an insight into marketing, into journalism, and I've worked in the newsroom,
Yes.
so I understand the system of like what a story goes through before it makes it to the newspaper or it makes it to television, But when I was very young, I couldn't articulate myself with this calmness and the confidence that I just said, no, that's nonsense, And so it's like, ooh, why is this one rejecting what everybody else takes?
Yes.
When people say the media can make you, I say, when you let them.
When you like them.
Yeah.
When you want to be a
if you want them
pleaser.
to make you, they will make you.
Yeah.
Then they can break you. Because if people can make, if somebody can make you, they can break you.
Yeah.
But if you don't let people do things to you, they can't do that. So I refused to be labeled just an it girl, and because I said that's not all that I am. I'm on radio. I'm a broadcaster. I produce my own content. I don't just wear cool clothes and go to a party and look good. I talk about the designers behind the clothes. I talk about the fashion. I know who the models are. I know the sponsorship behind this event that we're all attending. It's content. The fact that I'm there does not. I'm not just some bimbo girl who's on radio. No. And if that makes me difficult, impossible, whatever, fine. Those are the labels that they gave me. But at the end of the day, that was my truth.
And I think it also comes with substance.
Yeah.
Substance
Yes.
takes you far.
It takes me far. So because
Yeah.
I understood that I wanted to be a woman of substance, and I looked at what is called a woman of substance. When I was growing up in my dreams, and then I dissected half of those people, and I realized we're being sold dreams.
Yeah.
Half of these people don't live up to these values.
Yes.
They don't speak these things. They were fed this content and whatever. But if I'm going to open the microphone and talk to a nation,
So even if I'm talking to one person and talk to someone's mind, and I'm going to be planting nonsense, I don't want to be responsible for that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because now, as we get into this culture, this young generation, because you're also passionate about being the voice and actually giving inspiration, because you started your foundation called the Pen and Lebyane Foundation. And I love the idea you get into schools, where you actually say, you know what, these are our future leaders, they're the ones who are going to, lead and get into other industries. And for me, with the foundation, what made you decide, Wuti, let me start this foundation and actually impact these young stars, these young girls?
So, my broadcast career starts from a community radio station. So, so the developmental space is really the root of my broadcast career. And I think people always, they don't understand the concept of that. Is that you are on the ground, on community radio. The content is informed by the people who are the community.
Yeah.
Okay? And you build, you promote, you market things about the community.
Yes.
Now, that is my training ground. That unleashes my gift. It takes me to a public commercial station. People always forget that the SABC is a public broadcaster. It's there for the service of the population. So even if you work at a Metro FM, it's still... See, a Metro FM is not like a 702. The 702 is a straight up commercial station. Yeah. Metro FM is a public commercial station. So the money that ran that place is public money. It's million use taxes. So now I didn't understand that concept in 2020. I understood that concept in 1998, 99 when I got there.
So I understood that I'm here to promote South African culture. And South African culture is not Joburg culture. It's Polokwane culture. It's Bloemfontein culture. Now the fact that someone who might sit in management has never been to Bloemfontein or doesn't know the difference between Bushbuckridge and Zolo is not my business. I know the difference between the two, and when I'm going to go on radio, I'm going to do it. I'm going to treat a young person who comes from Durban the same way I will treat a young person who comes from Nelspruit, because they are at Metro looking for an opportunity to represent who they are and their culture at a bigger scale. So that's number one. And with that said, it automatically made me a young person who young people looked up to and go into spaces. And because I knew that in my industry, people like me go in front of young people and lie to young people and sell them truths, I was not going to learn those people. So I would go into schools and tell young people, let me tell you, they say you're going to go into the industry, you're going to be rich and famous. That's nonsense. Someone's going to try and screw you. Someone's going to try and have sex with you.
Yes.
Someone's going to say sleep with this one to get to this.
To get to the top.
That's fine. I can't control your private parts. But let me tell you what. Let me tell you what's going to happen. You are going to sacrifice your gift. So it means that to get to the next level all the time, you're going to have to sleep with someone because this one has told this one that you've left. So that's how you're going to maintain. So the best thing to do, don't sleep with them when you still have nothing to lose. Because once you start sleeping with them when you have nothing to lose, you're going to have to sleep with them to maintain what you think you can lose. All the way to the top. Now that's a life principle. That's not a radio thing. You know what I mean? Now, if that makes anybody else uncomfortable that I say that, again, it's not my problem. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sacrifice the fact that my dad used to drive me to work at Voice of Soweto and pick me up at 3 a.m. and I did my radio and then I applied and got myself at 21 at Metro FM. And then sleep with someone for that gift that God gave me when I was born. Never. That's not it. I would rather starve. Those are my principles.
So how do we stop this? Is there a way that it can be stopped, or it's now worse in this industry? The way people are like maneuvering shortcuts to get to the top.
I think we openly talk about it and we don't be apologetic, but we show people that the result of that is the mediocrity that we end up having to live with. We end up with people who are in places who shouldn't be there. And you know who loses? It's us as a culture, as a country, as a people. You know, the difference between us here in South Africa or in the continent is like we're not Americans. We don't have lots and lots of money to and the money's not in our hands. Do you understand what I'm saying? The people who have the money are looking for quality to invest in things. And for us to build things that are long lasting, we need to deliver quality and that's worth to grow. But we will always have substandards, and we'll also have this mentality of like, if pain is good now, nobody else can be good. For me to be good, let me remove pain. We'll have a lack mentality. And that's a culture that we've been trained. We don't celebrate excellence. We don't believe in people in merit. We have no standards because we've done that, So, I mean, unfortunately, we can't close the gate and stop it. But we need to educate young people to understand that you see, if you want a high standard, you don't hold the standard high when you're at the top. You hold it at the bottom. That's where you hold the standard. Then that's what creates a high standard. You know what I mean? And it also means that shortcuts means you can get quick money or whatever. But in the age of social media, because you're on social media and then everybody's talking about you, it doesn't really mean that you're doing anything worthwhile. If we really dissect it, you're just wasting airtime and space. I mean, we can all dress up and wear weaves and look pretty and slay. But deep down, we're not impacting anybody. And unfortunately, I grew up in a time when I understood what people took to build this country, or people who come from other parts of the country chasing their dreams, what that means. A lot of people sacrifice to build some of the opportunities that we have. I just refuse to be one of those people who are going to piss on their handbag because I want a handbag.
A quick fix.
I want a handbag. No, it's not. I'm not interested. And I'm not going to lie to people's children. And if I get Christian about it, people are worried about they're going to get to heaven and they'll be asked about, did you live a faithful life? Did you lie to people's children? I don't want God to say, you got on the radio, you sold children's dreams.
And that was it.
That was it.
And then you were done.
No, I don't want that. I'm not discussing that, especially on my gift.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And then mental illness, because that's also adds up to that. Depression, it's a huge thing in this industry.
Yeah.
Drugs, alcohol, all those things. And we tend to not deal with things in the root, but in the surface. You know what I'm taking?
Yes.
And for me, you are an advocate of that. And I would like us to tap into that because I think it's very crucial with the way we're using these vaccines, And my sincere condolences about Naledi as well, who passed away just recently as well. But for me, depression, it's something that I know a lot of people say, nah, it's a white people's thing. It's not a white people's thing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do whatever, change, do this and do that.
Yeah.
What made you decide through your experience? I want you to talk about your experience because not a lot of people know what you've been through and how it took you so long to get to where you are.
Yeah.
It's work.
Yeah.
It is work. It is self-work to actually now say, I'm going to bring the light, I'm going to find that light and actually become the penny that I was before we pick up the pieces. Because you went through being misunderstood, through all the bad publicity, then you had to shut down for a while, then you had to come back, And that roller coaster for you to actually get into that mental state and say, you know what, I need to work on myself, get the professional help that I can do to actually better myself and be who I am. Because you are a vessel of your artwork and what you give out to the people. So my question lies, I know it's long, my question lies is please explain your experiences and also advice for the young ones how to go about it, that they shouldn't take it lightly.
So, for me, it's things are interlinked. I got into media in a time where people said, you're here at work, you're just at work. It's professional. Keep your professional life, keep your personal life out of your professional life. So in the world of creativity, even then I understood that those things are intertwined. I didn't need a psychology degree to explain that. And it's not my fault that I was born in a time where people didn't understand that. And it's not my fault that I was reading publications that were saying that. I was watching creative industry in the UK, the creative industry in Hollywood, and I was asking myself, why is it that when you're supposed to be mostly talented, you're supposed to be like distracted and have drinking problem, just like act out and all of that stuff. I mean, I think, hindsight is showing us the machine behind Hollywood, and we have to really look at it and say, wow, I bought into that. Right now there's a case of Britney Spears who has to deal with with her father. Because at the end of the day, she's a money maker for her father and the record labels and whatever. And she was a child. But that's what people forgot. She was a child. She was a child. She was a teenager. Now, I didn't have a dad who would be taking advantage of me in the industry, but I was not going to allow anybody's dad or brother or anybody to use me as a male ticket. So everything that I was observing, I had to do that to myself. I had to be a publicist to myself. I had to be a psychologist to myself. Thank goodness I had lots of friends who are stylists who can help me with dressing up. But I was not going to be their little puppet, as well. I had my own sense of style. They could only enhance that. I was not going to be used by any brand to exploit me, because people think exploitation is only happens, at record companies. The media can exploit you, friends can exploit you. I was not going to have hangers on that I feed. I mean, I grew up seeing people like Brenda Fassie walking the streets, with so much talent and carrying lots of hanger-ons and not knowing where your money goes. So I think because of my family background, I knew that, I also grew up in a time where people were saying you have to have plan B. I don't have plan B. I'm plan A, B, to Z. So that's Z. So if I don't protect,
doesn't work.
If I don't work, it's. So I had to protect myself. But now that's my background. But when I get on the camera or I get on radio, my background is there. It's what informs, my storytelling and whatever. But I bring my game on, and you're not gonna be disrespecting me because my father and Nelson Mandela or whatever. Because I'm born in this country. I have a right to do the work that I do. Constitutionally, I'm as good as anyone else. But ultimately, before God, we're all equal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Those are the things that inform me. So when you're doing everything, when you're showing up for work, you're present, you're loyal, you're dedicated, you're honest, you're reliable, and then you don't get promoted, you don't get equal pay, you're overlooked, you're overlooked, you have an opinion. Why are you wearing boots when everybody else is wearing sneakers? It's like, what the heck? I mean, I like boots. When you know what I mean? And it's a creative space, and you're a kid like myself who, could get into a taxi, go to a club, downtown Joburg, and if I don't like being there, and the people I came with are not nice to me, I can call my dad to come with me. There will be no war, because I was not there to drink, or I was just working, you know what I mean? Then I work, I'm doing my radio gigs, and I'm building myself up. Now, to get to a level where now I'm supposed to see the fruit of the work, and then people are questioning, why does she wear boots? Why is she wearing braids? Why are you laughing bubbly all the time? Man, meanwhile you guys are drinking whatever. Those are the things that cause you depression, because you start thinking, what's wrong with me?
Is something wrong
There's something wrong with me. So now, in the creative space, creativity is one of the things that gives us freedom as human beings.
It's supposed
to give us freedom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's all these barriers and limitations, So I'm a free spirit to the core. Like, I just don't try and confine me. And my, and also we confuse free spirits and creative people with, they need to be off balance, drinking, smoking, jumping up and down. No, I'm just an emotive, expressive person, delivering. I may have an ability to make other people feel better, whatever. I'm not a robot as well. Yeah. So you can go through those experiences and cry in the background, show up for work, keep things to yourself. But the human body is not wired to let that toxic nonsense stay in you all the time. We'll just be tapped up by where does that emotion goes. It bottles up, And as women, we have hormones that can create imbalances. In this industry, you don't sleep. At some point, when you're young, everyone is invincible. I'll drink, energy drinks. You're not eating healthy. In this time, you're not sleeping. All of those things, they continuously create toxins in your body that can create an imbalance, in your body. And those things can trigger certain things in your mind. So now, the difference is when you used to living a certain way, you can carry on and function for 3 hours on the radio and function for however hours. Because now the industry says keep it together.
Yeah.
So you get into that.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is that certain life experiences and changes will trigger certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's when, in my case, I had a breakdown when I had my son. So people say, oh, that's just postnatal depression. It's very easy to link it to that. But based on my experience and my understanding and the reading and research that I've done, children are just triggers of things that are already there in your life. So as a mother, it's very easy. I mean, I think even back then, that's just how it used to be diagnosed. It's like, oh, it's just postnatal depression, and then you can say, oh yeah, it's because she just had a baby, and that's just that.
And that's just that.
But we don't want to talk about what was your life like before you had children. What sort of traumas did you experience?
The roots now.
Yeah, what are the things that were problematic? Issues of you were not a femme when you were young. You guys were constantly moving. You grew up in a very violent area. All of those things build up, and they cause trauma. And you're a type A. You have to be at work. You start your show at 3. You must be there at 1 o'clock. You're prepping. Everything is in order. Now here comes this human being in your life who's going to destabilize your system. So now it's like, how do you fit? So that's gonna those things cause triggers and certain imbalances, in your mind. But it's a build-up of things that have happened previously. So I had to again do honest introspection. Confront. So I say, I love children. They're selfish little people who come and says, Sisiwe, when an angel zak, don't involve me. You know what I mean? They're like, don't involve me. So bottom line is that my child came into my life as a blessing, but I had other things around me from previous experiences at that particular time. As much as this blessing comes, for me, I saw my child as a reminder to say, this next phase of your life, you need to have dealt with your things so you can confront. So you can move forward with clarity. So that's the breaking point.
Yeah.
And I got admitted into a brain clinic, into a psych ward for 10 days. I was diagnosed with puerperal psychosis, which is an extreme case of postnatal depression. So there's a general baby blues that everybody has, everybody feeling, for 2 days, 3 days, 2 weeks at most. So in my case, it was extreme. So, I was hospitalized for 10 days, put on medication to, balance me and all of that. And I came to an understanding that part of the depression that we deal with generally and specifically in the industry, it's about this thing of silencing yourself.
Yeah, because we're taught.
Because you're taught to take it in. And all of the stuff that you're taking in, you're suffocating.
Yeah.
So basically, we take a lot of things for granted. Everyone thinks they know how to breathe.
But also in your industry, there's no space to be vulnerable, to voice your opinion.
Well, it wasn't allowed, and at that particular time, when I got to make sure I was like 21, I was really a child. So in an adult world, who had a lot of sporadic, childish, and when I say childish, for me, in this instance, childish means the innocence of purity of, oh my God, I can do anything. Yeah, you know what I mean? And creativity is that. So now when that is stifled,
so childlike, not childish, childlike, because that's what we need to understand, is that creativity is being childlike, is seeing anything as an opportunity. And when you're in spaces that that's not affirmed, and you're told, oh, dim it down, dim it down. So parents must try that with their children and see what kind of adults they become. When it's like, you know what I mean?
Taking notes.
Yeah, so when I say we take things for granted, everybody says, oh, I can breathe. I mean, here we are, we're talking about breathing. But really, breathing is taking everything in, oxygen going into your lungs, and then all the way to your brain, then informing all your body parts, how they work. That's oxygen. That's life. I got to appreciate that when I went on top of Mount Kilimanjaro. When your legs are tired and you're mentally exhausted and everything, you can forget to breathe. And when you forget to breathe, you suffocate. And then you die. Now there's a lot of people in this industry who are suffocating. On television. Yeah. So like, when I'm suffocating, I speak fast. So everybody needs to know what happens to them when they, when I'm under a lot of pressure, like, I need to catch my breath. Take a moment, breathe in, and it's those kind of things that I had to learn, and I appreciate that experience. I appreciate my breakdown because it informed the person I am, the things I was thinking about, the things I was trying to communicate and I was feeling and I was trying to articulate. Yeah. And I was bottled and blocked and contrived because of, you must be this way, you must be,
Put in a
you
box.
must be put in a box, you must fit into a box, you must be this kind of girl. I never fitted into any of these boxes. You're a pretty girl, pretty girls must not say anything. Sorry, I have a brain. You're not too tall.
You shouldn't say anything.
You shouldn't say, you know what I mean? You're on radio, you're loud. Loud people just make noise. No, I actually am very informed. Yeah, tone down, those kind of things. You're unladylike. I'm like, yo, the people who are saying are ladies, they drink beer. I'm confused. So where do I freaking get up? You know what I mean? So all of those kind of things, and people can constantly rub that. And those are the things that triggers and create traumas. And then you reach a breaking point. We must embrace breaking point. We don't. Just like people are like, oh, I felt like crying and I held it together. No, cry. Especially let it out. Let it out. Yeah. Let it out. I encourage. Young men were not encouraged to cry when they were young.
Was they're told to be tough.
Yeah, to be tough. So also women are told you must be strong, don't be a crybaby. But you must take a moment to cry because crying releases toxins. Good for your skin.
To release.
Release.
Okay, now
so there's also a form of release.
Release.
Crying is good. Having sex is good. Exercising, because there's endorphins and all of these things. So the fact that I took time to understand all of those things, and someone says you think you know it all. But this is what the information says. This is what the psychologists are saying. This is what science is saying. What do you think I know? I read it. Yeah. So for me, my breakdown, I didn't want it to be in vain. I literally, when I came out of the hospital, when I was in hospital, so one of the things I said I was going to do, when I come out of here, I'm going to go to South African Depression and Anxiety Group. I'm going to tell them, my name is Lebyane. I'm on radio and television. I want to be an advocate for mental health because there's a problem with mental health in this country. Now that was, my son is 16. That was 16 years ago. We are here today.
Sure.
There should be a billboard that says Penny said it.
She said it.
You know what I mean?
She pre-planned this.
So,
she was ready,
And and that stuff was informed by things that I was reading about what's happening in Hollywood with a lot of other celebrities. And also I didn't want to be labeled. When you're a talented, confident woman, you must be erratic and drinking and running around like, I love Brenda Fassie with all my heart. But sometimes I get angry. I'm like, oh, that gift. It was wasted. Gone to waste. Yeah. And everybody sucked the energy
Whitney Houston. It's because of things like that.
And it's mostly
The legend. Most of the people who are gifted.
Because it's toxic. Power is gotten into them.
So I was like, not with my gift.
Yeah.
Not with my gift. Not with what I know and I understand impact I can make through media in this country. And I'm not going to be a non-entity, a woman of no substance to be celebrated. Like I refuse. We can all buy these and wear expensive clothes, but really, there's gotta be more. There's gotta be more. Yeah, there is.
And I wanted to ask you, in the media industry, which jobs among all of them, which ones was the toughest and what have you learned?
Toughest.
Challenging. Most challenging job you've ever experienced so far?
It depends on, my perception of a challenge is that it stretches you. So, what I do, and I treat my work as how does it stretch me psychologically, emotionally, and otherwise. If I don't bring the essence of who I am to work, it's not, it's not like I don't see it as a job. So radio is exciting, but it's got its own challenges. It's like light, when it's penetrated, it's like when it's dark and then light comes. It has to push forth.
Yeah.
It's like when when you're burning something with like a fire thing. Yeah. Let's say you're burning a steel. It has to concentrate and bend through, go to the other side. Yeah. So, because of when I got into media, I will always be that. I will always be penetrating through, and I think that's a price of pioneering.
Yeah.
Because you're always breaking through. You're taking things forward. So you always have to show up fully. People say to me, why don't you do like talk radio? I'm like, because talk radio is about arguing with politicians.
You have no time for that.
And looking for what they've done wrong. I'm like, that's fine. That's not my passion.
Yeah.
My passion is what's working. How can you do things right?
Yeah.
Who are you? How does your story inform you? What are your values? What do you enjoy most about what you're doing? How exciting is this? How colorful do you make the world a better place?
Being your own person and focusing on your own lane and not caring about what other people are saying, And I just want to say, Penny, thank you for not being afraid of saying this is my story, this is who you are. Because it takes a strong woman to come to that extent to actually say, you know what, I don't care what the media is going to tell me or say anything about me. I'm going to continue being me. Because along the way, you could have compromised and actually said, Zini, after what I've been through, let me change and actually become what they want me to, but you never compromise. So I just want to say thank you for being you, and this is a gift from me to you. To say
thank you.
You are such an inspiration, Sandasami, and keep doing you, hey?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be a strong woman anymore. They've abused that label.
Oh, they've abused.
Because when you say you're a strong woman, people think that you don't feel. Yeah, so I just don't want to be that.
So
actually,
what
I don't want to be
aspire
I don't want
to
to be
moving forward?
I just want to be myself. Just me. Like, I'm alive, I have a heartbeat. If you cut me, blood comes out, I get pissed off. I raise my voice. I'm sensitive.
Yes.
I'm moody, I'm hormonal. I'm just a human being.
That's it. And you can have a sneak nyana, but it's a little something of appreciation.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is going to be And it's a wrap. Thank you guys for tuning in with Insight with Tendai. And I'm gonna end with a quote. And this quote is going to be the change who you want to see, something that is very relevant to what we've spoken about with Penny and being authentic with yourself. But however, guys, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode, and I'm not going to let you know. I'm not going to tell you who it is, actually, but let me enjoy my cup of tea. Sizabonana next time.